Hi everybody, I'm back. Sorry I've not made any videos lately. I have been doing some improvements and some research, and I've also been on vacation in Poland. Today I wanted to just update you on everything that's been going on. I have purchased a new webcam. It is a Logitech C922. It's the newest model, so I'm coming to you in HD. And that's kind of fun and exciting and different. And the other big improvement I've made is that I have purchased a, don't know if you can see it from there, a small audio mixing board. And what this does is that my headphones and microphone are plugged in here, and so now I can change the gain and how much of the background noises you hear, and also the low and the highs. I can even change, left and right, to make it sound more stereo or something. But this is a pretty exciting little addition to my videoing for YouTube and streaming and things like that. I mean, I've not started streaming yet, but it's something that may happen in the future. So let's get started on today's project. One of the things that I also wanted to improve the last 2 weeks was my color palette, and I wanted to go to a more classical medieval color palette that's similar to the colors used by the masters. And the colors that they would have used at that time would have been ground pigments, and a lot of them were earth pigments. Many of the colors that you see in the modern palette are chemical colors that were not discovered until the 1800s. And I wanted to go back to a more natural palette. And to do that, I cheated. And I highly recommend you borrow this book from the library, or you get a copy for yourself. Maybe you can find a used copy. But this book is called Color Index, and it is by Jim Krause. And I will let you see the ISBN number. If I can find it real quick. Here it is. Here's my finger, and here is the ISB number. And I will put that information down in the bottom as well. But the beauty of this book, and the reason that I want to promote it to you, is that Jim gives color palettes, and here on the side he puts it in CMYK, which is your cayenne, magenta, black, yellow. And he also does it in RGB, which is the colors that we use in Sketchbook Pro 7. And so, using Jim's awesome book here, I went to the medieval rich color palettes, and I really liked these colors, and I thought these would be wonderful. And I just typed in the numbers. Here we go. They're down here in RGB. I typed in the numbers and made myself a color palette, and I did that on my Wacom Cintiq Mobile Studio Pro. And now I have copied the colors onto an image, and now I can just take this image anywhere I go, and using the eyedropper tool I can change my color palette, and I'm going to show you how to do that. While I'm also at it, talking about this small book, there are several in this series, including Index Ideas, which is just lovely ideas for designs. And when you get stumped, sometimes you need ideas, and you need an idea book, and this is just a book of ideas, and so many ideas based on historical things, based on trends, just tons and tons of ideas. And when you're in a slump, it's a great thing. The other one in this series is the Layout Index, And this is if you're really into graphic design. You can see here there's also a lot more layouts, just web design ideas, different kinds of layouts, advertising ideas, so that you get ideas of how you want to lay things out on your page. And you know, it may not have all the solutions for you, but it gives you ideas on, hey, that I can use that. And these are handy to have because then you don't have to search anything. You just pick up the book and flip through it and look. The other thing that if you're really going to get into printing off your images is Pantone chips. And Pantone chips are all your millions and millions of colors and what they look like printed on paper. This one is a matte finish paper. This is what your colors and your ink will look like on the matte finish, because when the ink hits the paper, it's absorbed lightly into the paper, and so it actually has a little bit duller color. Whereas glossy paper, this is a glossy one. I don't know if you can, there we go, see some sunshine on it. The colors are a little bit richer because of the gloss. This is a fantastic tool if you're going into print, but once again, the colors are listed in CMYK, and that is for the printing process, because printing uses 4 colors of ink to achieve all these different colors, and is different than RGB. I'm getting them confused together. RGB, which is your computer screen, and I've discussed that before. But the cool thing is if you find a color in here that you really, really like, you can get it translated into RGB using the internet. There are resources out there that if you find a color you like, you can switch it over. Does this mean you need these? No, you absolutely do not need these every day. I have not, in fact, I've not even used these for 2 years. I've been using that little book over there for almost all of my projects. All right, so showing you how to take this medieval color palette and putting it into your Sketchbook Pro. All you have to do, if you look down here on our main screen, I'm going to take my stylus tool over here to our palette, and there's an eyedropper tool. You just grab the eyedropper tool and you click in the solid area of that color, and you'll see that the palette up here has turned that color and it has come here into the square. Then all I need to do is grab the square and drop it and move it over here. Then I also have the eyedropper tool as a shortcut on my keyboard. So instead of having to grab, there it's frozen. Oh no, okay. So instead of having to grab this eyedropper tool with my stylus all the time, I can come over here and I can just use Alt. The Alt key will grab the colors for me. Now I'd like to keep my blues all together in my palette, so I'm going to grab this grayish blue color and put it on there next. And the greenish blue color, you see I'm just pressing Alt, clicking on that, and then it's in this square over here in the color palette. Grab it and drop it down. I'm going to grab my greens. Here's this middle green. Grab it from the square, drop it down. The grayish green color, and drop it down. And this foresty green, and drop it down. Now what's beautiful about these colors is this is cobalt, which cobalt was very available in the medieval era. You also had malachite, which is a stone that was ground up to make green. You also had copper used to make green. Unfortunately, a lot of the copper greens that you see in artwork that survives has oxidized and turned black. So green doesn't survive well over time. but I still want to have my greens. See, I need to hit my Alt key because I got started talking again. Got a dark plum rose color. I'm going to grab that there. And various colors of clay mud, earth dirt. Good old earth dirt, because dirt is always available. There's a clay color. You can always get Adobe brown colors. There's a flesh salmon tone. I'm not entirely sure where that comes from. Vegetable green. I'm going to put that in there. A yellow. Now, yellow is a fun color for the medieval era because you had yellow ochre. Yellow ochre is a clay and is processed, and most of your yellows will have some sort of yellow ochre in it. The bright yellow didn't come around until very late. You had earwax that made a yellow. A lot of monks used earwax. You can get yellows from onion skins by boiling them. I'm trying to think how else you get yellow in during the medieval era. I know it's not easy to get a lot of these bright colors that we're used to. To get brightness, you had to add white to everything. You have a carnelian red, which carnelian is a rock. It's a stone. Dragon's blood red, which is also, I believe it's a resin. Yes, because you can burn it. You can use it as an incense and as an ink. So I believe that's a resin from a tree. It's a sap that comes out and it hardens into a resin. And of course, when that's fossilized, you get amber. So that's a resin that would be dried and powdered and used as a coloring agent. And I believe that's also one that oxidizes a little bit. Did I capture all of these? I think I did. All of the important ones. And there's that orangey color. Did I get the orangey color? No, I didn't. Orange is another color that's, I think I've got two of these creams. Right, you know, so one thing I don't like about the palette is that it's not very big. You only get 20 spots, and that's all you get. So I have to double check and make sure I didn't duplicate anything. These two greens are very similar, so I think I'm going to put in my flesh tone here over one of these greens. And that gives me two greens. One looks like a moss earth green, one looks like carnelian malachite, malachite. Cobalt, so I'll have a cobalt and a regular blue. I have a purple that would be from the snails. Believe it or not, there are snails in the Mediterranean that make the purple red dye. In fact, that's why emperors could only wear that color, or royalty could wear that color, because it was so difficult to get. You had to take these little snails from the Mediterranean and grind them up and then make paste with them, and that's how you got that color of dye. Seeing all the earth tones, lots and lots of earth tones. Got my yellow, my orange, my gold colors, which are my most important, and my flesh tones, always important, but I think I got most of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that'll have to do because I want to keep these two browns. One is more reddish and one is more orange-based brown, cool brown, and one is a more warm brown. If you look at this one on the color wheel up in the left, and when I click on the other one, you can see the little the little black ticker go from red brown to a more orange cold brown. And I want to keep those different, definitely for sure, because browns I think are always very difficult to make. Browns and oranges are the two colors I have the most difficulty with making on the color wheel. All right, this color palette I'm going to put up on DeviantArt today. It'll be uploaded very shortly. So if you would like to get a copy of it, you can click on the link below. Take this color palette and put it in whatever program you enjoy. All right, I'll see you later, and I hope you had a good experience today. Bye.